Yes, Gen Con. So we talked a while ago about how they are expanding this year. Well, it turns out they may be expanding even more because they sent out a survey asking people where they would want to see Gen Con go to elsewhere in the United States. Not moving the Gen Con as it is now.
Did they actually say this?
Yes, they said to have a second location.
Yes. So similar to Comic-Con, New York and LA.
Or a lot of other conventions.
Isn't San Diego?
Yes. So I think we've kind of talked about before on the show where we would want things to go because we thought they were going to be leaving Indianapolis maybe for a while.
Because that was the thing a while back.
But now it's a real. I think maybe we can talk about that too.
After I had to deal with trying to get a hotel room, and then probably seeing people trying to get a hotel room. They're probably like, we probably need another space.
Yeah, I think more interesting than where it's going is just what it will mean for this Gen Con. Like we were saying before, right now there's really one major Comic-Con, even though there's a lot of different Comic-Cons. There's one that all the stuff happens at. Do we think that's what's going to happen here?
Well, I think it depends on the placement, like we were talking a little bit earlier. I think if the convention ends up in the tri-state area, I think that it would actually be very likely to be more supported by Wizards of the Coast and more of a trading card game presence there. Because for whatever reason, the tri-state area is just extremely competitive when it comes to that.
WizKids is in New Jersey, all that stuff.
So I think we probably see more of a tournament scene there with more of the cards being released there. Gen Con has more of the board games.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's
so I think placement could actually define what it happens.
It might even be, they might have secondary ones that are less about news and more about just playing games or showing things off that were already announced rather than necessarily being like segregated as much into that kind of a thing.
Right. And what they could also go along the lines of, which I would really love to see, would be maybe if they did like Gen Con Indie. This would be more like for smaller, unique board games, or even like board games like from other countries being brought over.
I think that would be cool because if maybe you have a few Gen Con indies, it'd be really good for publishers who aren't big enough to be able to make it out to the big Gen Con, or who get lost in the shuffle because there's so many big games they aren't as obvious.
Right, and then of course you can maybe do other ideas for that, so maybe support different topics. Like if you wanted to make one that's just for the RPGers.
Right, as it originally was.
Right. If you wanted to make one that maybe brings up more social issues in gaming, like how could we see more games that are more representing people and stuff, I think it has a lot of possibilities. Maybe not just make another big one, but maybe a bunch of small ones. And like I said, areas really matter. Yeah. Certain areas support certain things better.
I definitely think it's going to either be East Coast or West Coast, right? That's
I'm almost
most
certain.
likely.
My money is, well, I'm not saying this is where I want it to be.
Right.
My money is on New York City or Seattle.
And you don't think California?
No, Oregon and Washington are much bigger on the board games.
True.
As far as I know, convention-wise, even though there is the San Diego one and stuff, I think it just is more support. It's going to have more support up there.
That's pretty logical. I mean, there is. I know, Board Game Geek is in Texas. And then Origins, I want to say, is in Atlanta, I think, somewhere. Or no, it's in Ohio, I think. It's in Ohio. I think there's another one. I mean, there are board game conventions all over the place.
Well, and the other thing is to take into account, this goes back to Magic, again. I went to is PAX, which while board games, really is heavy video games. Maybe they could do some Gen Con PAX combo thing. Because I know they're in Seattle. I haven't been to the Seattle one.
But Boston there's a PAX Boston. That might be a good place, too. That wouldn't be bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe even think about doing a team-up kind of deal with that, too. I mean, I would think it'd be cool.
I would, too. And if we think it's cool, then...
Well, if we, that's the coolness is what we like.
We're the Fonzies of the board game industry.
Oh, yeah.
So it will definitely be interesting. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
No.
They're big enough.
They need it.
It's time.
No, I'm telling you, they need it.
Do you think it will have a big impact, like in terms of the size and the crowd? Do you think people will?
It will if it depends on if it's a general board game geek con. I mean, they're both the same.
If they're not specified.
Then it could go either way, because then we have the same thing like San Diego, like you said, the big stuff still shows there, so everyone still wants to make it to that one.
Yeah, I mean.
However, if we see really the Magic card game presence.
Or something else that's
really
draws
pulls
people
there,
in.
then maybe like people are like, I don't need to go there because I'll get my D&D fix here.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who would, will just say, well, Gen Con's great, but if I can travel 2 states instead of 12, I'd rather do that.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's a must. I think board games are definitely getting big enough and popular enough. I mean, I think we're finally getting out of that shadow of just, if you talk about board games, oh, you play Monopoly?
Right. We're making it. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So we will find out what happens with that, if anything, in the future.
Yeah.
It's all speculation.
Where would you like to see the convention? Let us know.
Where do you want it to go? What do you want to see happen? Let us know.
Do you think placement actually matters at all, like we said? Do you think they should make a convention focused on a specific topic? Let us know.
Please, we're all ears.